You're listening to the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge.
When you hear the music, you know it's time to start the show. Welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And you are listening to us on Noon and Zone, home of Southern Sports, WQEE, 99.1 FM The Key. And we have got a jam-packed show for you today. All the Olympic highlights, the Braves, my NFL 32 teams in 32 days. We are 11 days away from the start of high school football on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and we are in single digits, 9 days away from high school football. The Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic kicks off 4:30 at Kell High School between the LaGrange Grangers and Douglas of Atlanta. I cannot wait. I am just excited because over the weekend I was a part of media days for Muskogee County, all 8 public schools in Muskogee County for the second year in a row, representing Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And then Saturday morning, I was a part of Brookstone's Media Day on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And we're going to be starting Glenwood Media Day, Harris County Media Day, and Calvary Media Day. I am absolutely ecstatic about that. Also, Central Media Day is going to be having to take place this week as well. But we might be there as part of the media, but the Central Network is going to be live streaming that. So stay tuned. When it comes to Media Day, there's questions out there just to see what the outlook is for the season. And I know that I was very comfortable with talking to these coaches because I've already had them on coaches' shows. And so being a part of the media for the second year in a row, I think that I was a little bit more comfortable asking the tough questions. I didn't really ask a whole lot of tough questions, but I do like being a part of Media Day and being a part of the high school lineup. So this week, starting on Tuesday at noon, the Sports Beat will be airing on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Facebook page and YouTube channel. I'm excited that I get to extend my platform to a bigger audience as I'm continuing to grow this show. I've had this podcast for 4.5 years, since January of 2020, and I'm now on TikTok, which my audience has completely quadrupled since I've been on TikTok, and I've been uploading 1-minute reels of my show. We do have a great show for you. This is episode 880, just in case you are keeping score at home. Yes, that's right. I'm getting closer to 900 episodes. We're going to talk about the Harris County Black and Gold game. We did have some scrimmages over the weekend to include Columbus taking on Early County. We had Troup County taking on Cedartown. Now, Harris County, it's just something about Friday Night Lights in the first weekend of August, and they're having these scrimmages way early into the season, and the students aren't even back at school yet, and they're already putting the pads and getting out on that field. So it was great to be back on the football field. Friday Night Lights. We'll give you the Georgia Alabama Sports Live schedule. Also this week, I will be making my Georgia Alabama Sports Live debut for volleyball. That is right. I didn't even call volleyball at Freed Harbin. We had a volleyball team at Freed Harbin. I did not call volleyball. This will be my first broadcast calling volleyball. And absolutely, I watched the Olympics and volleyball. I even looked up high school volleyball games just to get the terminology down. I did the same thing when I called games for the Columbus Rapids. I am excited because this Thursday, 6:30, St. Anne Pacelli and Shaw. This is getting real, folks. This is a game changer that we are live streaming softball and volleyball as well as high school football. High school football, August the 16th. I will be at Calvary Christian. They will take on Terrell County. Also, later today, we're going to have the Glenwood Coaches Show hosted by Noah Shelton with Coach Ryan Nelson of the Glenwood Gators. And I will be hosting the Calvary Coaches Show with Coach Emmanuel Brunson. That's going to be every week. We'll have different coaches on. We'll have the volleyball coach on one week. We'll have the softball coach on, maybe even the cross-country coach. And then throughout the school year, we'll have the basketball coach, the softball coach, the baseball coach. We're all here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We are just hitting the ground running. So many items to talk about here on the show. I'm going to go the full hour. I mean, that's what I do. The thing is, we've got local sports in Columbus. We also have sports to Georgia, and we also have the Olympics going on. And it's got a local flavor to it. We're going to start with a team that's near and dear to my heart. Congratulations to the Chattahoochee Monsters, SBL champions for the first time in franchise history. This has been a franchise since 2022. They were in Chattahoochee for the 2022 season. Then they went to Chattahoochee. They went to Columbus, and they were called the Chattahoochee Monsters. So Columbus last season had 2 teams in the SBL, and I was honored to be a part of the broadcast on YouTube for the Chattahoochee Monsters. I want to thank Tom Callahan for giving me that opportunity, including calling a playoff game against the Gainesville Gold Diggers with Noah Shelton exactly 1 year ago. They had that incredible finish, coming back from 7 runs down to beat the Atlanta Crackers. They met the Gainesville Gold Diggers in the semifinals, and they ended up moving back to Oxford after Golden Park got the renovations for Synovus Park next season. But I am excited that the Chattahoochee Monsters are your SBL champions as they defeated the Atlanta Crackers in 2 games. They were the number 1 seed all year, and people have been posting on social media, people that worked with the Chattahoochee Monsters, now Chattahoochee Monsters. They were part of Ignite Sports for 2 years. I know that Scott Brand put something on social media. I mean, when you see a team that you have worked with and you've been involved with win a championship, it really does mean something. I saw Tom Callahan post something on social media. I thought that it was a great tribute to a team that is well deserving of an SBL championship. And if you haven't been to Chattahoochee Park, great experience, and just the community of Oxford, Alabama, over there in East Alabama, they really love their Chattahoochee Monsters. And I'm very familiar with the Oxford, Anniston area as I've done military training at Fort McClellan. But congratulations to the Chattahoochee Monsters. You are the 2024 SBL champions. All right, with that being said, we do know that the minor league baseball team for Columbus that will play at Synovus Park in 2025, they don't have an official name yet. I'm just calling them the Columbus Braves. They will take on the Pensacola Blue Wahoos on April the 15th. We have a date for the home opener. Got to get your tickets for that. I'm hoping that I can come in as a member of the media, and we would love to cover this team throughout the season. I'll definitely be covering the new minor league baseball team on my podcast, as I'm very familiar with the Southern League. Back in college, I used to work for the West Tennessee Diamond Jacks, who later became the Jackson Generals, and they're not in the Southern League anymore. I mean, they've had new teams like the Biloxi Shuckers and the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Those teams in the Southern League have come into existence after the Jackson Generals left. But I kind of feel like the Southern Baseball League has been my niche. That's where I started when I graduated from college and tried to go into broadcasting. Working the stadium sounds, working the fan cam, just getting my foot in the door, and had aspirations to be the play-by-play announcer one day. And it's all coming to full circle now. So your Olympics update. The United States cleaning house. They have got 71 71 medals, 19 gold. China's got 19 gold as well, but they got 45 medals. And France, the host country, has got 44 medals. Simone Biles, 27 years old. Is she going to retire? Probably. She's pregnant. But she won 3 gold medals. The team medal for Team USA, the all-around competition, and she also won it for the vault. So Simone Biles, 3 gold medals. Congratulations to her. How about Noah Lyles? A fantastic photo finish for the 100-meter dash in track and field. And it is the first gold medal for the United States, and I believe in over 20 years. And they actually had something very interesting. The person that was in last place had a better run time than Carl Lewis in 1988. That's an incredible stat. I can't believe that. And Katie Ledecky wins another gold medal. She's got more gold medals than any female athlete in Olympic history. And, you know, trying to pass Michael Phelps is just not going to happen. Michael Phelps is pretty much breaking records when it comes to the Olympics. And I'm excited. The United States, they sweep group play. They defeated Puerto Rico. They are going to take on Brazil in the quarterfinals. Canada also went unscathed. They went undefeated. The play of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and R.J. Barrett has proven that Canada could be one of those teams that medals. Germany looked pretty good. And so, you know, the quarterfinals is set. I mean, you got Serbia. They are actually in the quarterfinals. France, Germany, Canada, Greece. I mean, unbelievable. And then the United States women's team gets the win over Germany. They're going to take on Nigeria in the quarterfinals. I can't believe the Olympics is wrapping up. August the 11th will be the closing ceremonies, and then they will have that tradition where it's on to Los Angeles. 2028 will be the next Olympic Games, and it will be the first time that the United States has hosted the Olympics since Atlanta in 1996, which I wasn't even here in Atlanta, but I heard a lot about the history as well. So I just am a historian when it comes to the Olympics and everything that the Olympics stands for. Atlanta Braves split the 4-game series with the Miami Marlins, and now they're on to taking on the Milwaukee Brewers for a 3-game series on the road. I mean, they had Philly up. Philly lost 4 games in a row. The Atlanta Braves, they won 3 games in a row, and they were 5 back. And now the Atlanta Braves, they are right there where they need to be. They hold the top wild card spot. Welcome back Max Fried for, he didn't have the start that he wanted. They did lose to the Miami Marlins 7-0. But the Atlanta Braves, if they hold on to that wild card spot, I think that they're going to be just fine. Right now, the Braves are 6 back from the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies did get the win over the Seattle Mariners, and they actually have the lead over the Padres when it comes to percentage points. They are the number 4 seed. The Padres are the number 5 seed, but right now the Phillies would be the number 1 seed, the Dodgers would be the 2 seed, and the Milwaukee Brewers, who are leading the NL Central by 5 games over the St. Louis Cardinals, they would be the number 3 seed. So the Braves taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. 3 games set up at Miller Park on Tuesday. And then the Chicago White Sox, they are the worst team in Major League Baseball. 20 straight losses. I don't know what is going on with the Chicago White Sox, but this has been an absolute disaster for, a team that were in the playoffs a couple of years ago. I mean, Tony La Russa was managing this team. The White Sox won the World Series in 2005. This is a historic franchise. I've never seen the White Sox this bad. They are 27-87. I mean, that is really bad. I mean, you have the next worst team in the American League is the Oakland Athletics, and they're 46-67. and they still mathematically can make it into the wild card. I mean, it's a 3-team race for that number 1 seed in the American League between the Orioles, Yankees, and the Cleveland Guardians. And Seattle and Houston trying to fight to get that AL West crown. And the defending World Series champion Texas Rangers, I knew that they were going to be just a flash-in-the-pants type team after last season. I don't think that the Texas Rangers end up making the playoffs. I mean, it would be a long shot if the Texas Rangers ended up making the playoffs. All right, let's go and take our first break. When we come back, I'm going to talk about NFL preseason Week 1 games coming up. They did announce the Hall of Fame class over the weekend in Canton and my NFL 32 teams in 32 days. We're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. That's right, that same Arizona Cardinals team that almost won the Super Bowl in 2009. You don't want to go anywhere. It is the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and we'll be right back.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC and Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor.
Welcome back to the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I am your host, Richard Holdridge. On this Monday, August the 5th, 2024, as the students coming back to Muskogee County, we get ready for high school football. We've got volleyball, we've got softball, we've got cross country, we've got so many sports happening. Back to the news that is national headline news when it comes to sports, as the United States has a new head coach. It is Pellegrino Madrazzano. He is 46 years old. He was coaching in the Bundesliga last year. He led Hoffenheim to 7th place in the Bundesliga, and he managed Stuttgart for almost 3 years. So if the United States, who are going to be playing in the World Cup in 2026, if they want to at least get out of the group and make it to the quarterfinals, because that's the expectations for U.S. soccer, they got a new head manager at the helm, taking the place of Greg Berhalter, who was let go about a month ago after Copa America. And speaking of soccer, Fountain City FC, who is promoted into the next tier of the United Premier Soccer League, will be playing in the fall, and their first game at Otis Spencer Stadium will be September the 7th against UMA FC up in LaGrange. I'm excited because, one of our partners at Georgia Alabama Sports Live, Brandon Schwobel, he live streams Fountain City FC on their YouTube channel, and we would love to partner with Fountain City FC. We've already got that partnership with Columbus United FC in the NPSL. And with outdoor soccer being as popular as it is, especially in Columbus, the more outdoor teams we have, the better. I mean, because you're focused on this talent that is there that wants to showcase their talent. And there's good soccer in Columbus. We saw it with the Columbus Rapids in the indoor game, not just for the men, but for the women as well. So that's really what I like to see. And good luck to Columbus United FC this upcoming season. All right, well, the Hall of Fame took place over the weekend. We did have the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, and we had the Houston Texans and the Chicago Bears. I mean, that kickoff rule, it just didn't really look all that great. Well, we'll see how it goes in the regular season. But here's some of the Hall of Famers for the 2024 class. Dwight Freeney, he was just a dominant pass rusher for the Indianapolis Colts. Remember, the Atlanta Falcons signed him, and he got a sack in that Super Bowl. I thought that even though Dwight Freeney was at the tail end of his career, I thought that was a great move by the Falcons getting Dwight Freeney, and he just had a pretty good Super Bowl. Devin Hester, probably the greatest punt returner of all time. Never kick it to Devin Hester. In fact, when he played for the Falcons, he had a punt return against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that was the last time, I believe that was the last time the Falcons had a punt return for a touchdown. Andre Johnson, the greatest Houston Texan wide receiver of all time. He played at the U, and he was a physical possession receiver. Julius Peppers, the only member of the Carolina Panthers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He played basketball at North Carolina. Julius Peppers was one of the most dominating defensive ends of all time, and he played in that Super Bowl for the Carolina Panthers in 2003. He went on to play for the Bears later. Great career. One of my favorite linebackers, and I'm a 49ers fan, Patrick Willis. His career was cut short because of injuries, but Patrick Willis out of Ole Miss, drafted in the first round of the 2008 NFL Draft, made an immediate impact for the 49ers defense. And then when Jim Harbaugh came to the team in 2011, Patrick Willis was starting to become an all-pro alongside Navarro Bowman. And those were the two best linebackers in the league playing at the same position. A leader on the defense. And yes, his career was cut short, but when it comes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it's not about longevity. It's about what did you do while you were playing, and that's why Terrell Davis is in the Hall of Fame. You got, I'm trying to think, Randy Grashier, one of the old school players that got in, and Steve McMichael, a member of the '85 Chicago Bears, who could not make it to the Hall of Fame ceremony because of ALS, but they brought the Hall of Fame ceremony to him. I thought that was a very unique gesture. And then one thing I want to talk about, Oconee County Little League, they defeated Northern in the Georgia State Championship to represent Georgia in the Southeast Region Tournament. Kirby Smart's son has been putting on a show. He hit 2 home runs the other day on ESPN. Matt Stewart had the call. And I am pulling for Georgia because he has had a great series. Austin Peterson, he has homered twice as well, including 8 runs batted in. Pulling for Georgia. Hopefully they could win the Southeast Region Tournament and make it to Williamsport for the Little League World Series. All right, so with that being said, I got my NFL 32 teams in 32 days, and in case you are wondering about why I do this, I started doing this last year. Started in July with the Atlanta Falcons. What I do is I recap the 2023 season. I look at the depth chart, and I make a prediction on how this team is going to fare in the 2024 season. Now, all these 32 teams in 32 days I've done for the radio audience only. I've been doing audio-only podcasts. This is actually a video podcast, and so I'm going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to recap the 2023 season. Jonathan Gannon, the former defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, is entering his second season after the Cardinals going back-to-back 4-13 seasons. They have a healthy Kyler Murray at the arsenal, and they also have an outstanding weapon in Marvin Harrison Jr., who they picked 4th overall in the NFL draft. The Cardinals are still a very young team that is rebuilding. J.J. Watt retired. They have James Conner. They have a pretty good running back, but they got Benson out of Texas just to back him up. And I do think that Kyler Murray, remember in 2021, he was an MVP type level of player, and they went 11-6 and went to the playoffs. But I do think Kyler Murray only played in 8 games last year, went 3-5. So I definitely think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to improve in 2024. Let's go ahead and take a look at the depth chart. Your wide receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr., you got Michael Wilson, and you have Greg Dortch. Your running back is James Conner. Remember, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Your offensive line, How about Paris Johnson, the number one left tackle from the 2023 draft out of Ohio State? You got Evan Brown. You got Hadije Fiort, Will Hernandez, and Jonah Williams. Their tight end is Trey McBride. Remember, they had Zach Ertz for a little bit, and they were really all in when they ended up getting that Zach Ertz. But Trey McBride, he is your tight end. So the Arizona Cardinals, looking pretty good. Let's take a look at that record for the Arizona Cardinals. As you know, when I think about the Arizona Cardinals in that division with the Seattle Seahawks, the Los Angeles Rams, and the San Francisco 49ers, it is hard to compete when you have a very good division. Yeah, let's take a look at the defense. Your defensive linemen, Bijal Nichols, Roy Lopez, and Justin Jones. Your middle linebacker, Xavier Collins. Remember, he was selected first in the first round in the 2021 draft. Mac Wilson Sr., the free agent from New England, Kazir White, and BJ Ojulari, who is on the injured list. And then your secondary, Max Melton, the rookie out of the second round. They actually think that he's going to start on the depth chart. Jalen Thompson, Buda Baker, he's got to be the best free safety. This is the one bright spot for the Arizona Cardinals is Buda Baker. He is a playmaker. Remember when he ran that fumble return in the Seattle game all the way back, and then he got chased down by DK Metcalf, but that's neither here or there. Sean Murphy-Bunting, a very good corner, good veteran corner, and then Garrett Williams is going to be that nickel corner. And then, of course, they always have a very good, reliable kicker in Matt Prater. All right, let's look at the 2024 schedule for the Arizona Cardinals, because I look at this Cardinals team and, right out the gate, taking on the Buffalo Bills, I got them losing that game. Week 2, they are hosting the Los Angeles Rams. I got them losing that game too. Week 3, I got them losing to the Lions. I got them beating the Commanders in Week 4. They pick up their first victory of the season. I got them losing to the 49ers. So that's 1-4 so far. Cardinals go to Green Bay. They lose that game. The Chargers, I think they lose that game. And then they lose against the Dolphins. So that is 1-7. I got them beating the Bears, and I got them beating the Jets. And I also got them beating the Seahawks. And then I got them beating the Patriots. So if you count up the wins, I actually got them beating the Panthers too. So if you count up the wins, so I got them beating the Panthers, I got them beating the Patriots, the Seahawks, that is 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got the Arizona Cardinals improving their win total. They're going to go 6-11. But, they still have, a possibility to win some games. And that is what the Arizona Cardinals can do, is win some games for you. All right, well, that is all I have. I can only go 30 minutes. I will try to have guests on the Sports Beat this week. Stay tuned for the Sports Beat, 12 o'clock, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. On tomorrow's show, I'm going to preview Week 1 in high school football, and I will talk about some of the games that are going on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show tonight, and have a great rest of your night, everybody.
Thank you for watching the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. You're ready to smile.